just want to say, thank you to Old Mutual for really thinking of doing this for our artist. But unfortunately, or fortunately, they can do something for you. You have to want to do it yourselves. Yeah. I was 19 when I started singing. I just, came out of school. My mother wanted me to be a lawyer, and I was just found. And I went to sing I'm in Love with a DJ. Yes. So the most important thing that I can say to you, education is very important. Yes. When you have education, no one can take you for granted. Yeah. You won't be at anyone's mercy. But you can have talent, great talent, but if you're not disciplined, you're going to end up being nothing. That is very important. Remember that when you go on stage or when you go into the studio, you work hard for that money. So make your money work for you. Take that money and invest it. Ungafuni ukuvela ube inkalakatha nje. Uthole first check so ufuna 5 series. Kanjani? Don't go with the flow. Friends are very good only when you have that money and that 5 series. And when you don't have, they all disappear. So when you have that money, try and invest it because tomorrow may just not cater for itself.
I'm wondering, Mama Yvonne, you have been in this industry for such a long time, and so many of us know you as somebody who's always been on their own 2 feet, knowing their own story. We know that you are a very shrewd businesswoman in your own right. I would like to know from you, what is the best financial advice that you've ever received in your life?
I remember my very first check. Phil Hollis said, we've got 400,000 rands for your royalty. And remember in 1985,
Fortune.
My mother was a domestic worker. She was earning 40 rands. So, but Phil Hollis said to me, I'm giving you 150, we're investing the rest. And I thought, but I think that was the best thing that he did for me. Because when my second check came, Brenda Fassie and Yvonne Chaka, we sold records. Yeah. We sold tapes. Yes. Yeah, we sold tapes. But people were buying. And that's another thing that we have to teach our people. Piracy kills the creative industry. Yes. So we need to teach our people to buy, to come to our shows, but do not take your fans for granted. After 34 years in the music industry, I still rehearse. I go and I rehearse. Last week, thanks to AMP Studios and John Savage, I went to Cape Town to go and rehearse with her the song. So you don't take things for granted and take your fans for granted. But you must know that when you have the little, take it and invest it. Go and ask for a financial advisor. Get a financial advisor and be financially savvy because that is important. I can tell you, I'm a shareholder at Sandown Motors. I'm a shareholder at Lion Pride. I have got my coffin for 300 rands. It's all ready. Don't fight with my husband. I bought my coffin already. It's mine. What do I need a coffin for 50,000 rands for? Life is for the living. I'm eating my money now. I'm making my money work for me now. So when you see me in my 300 rand coffin, know that it's me who wanted it. Just wrap me in the blanket and put me in the 300 rand coffin. Take my money, give it to those who need it. Young children like this, donate it at AMP Studios.
There we go.
I think that one of the biggest financial mistakes that I have made in my career was in not really seeing myself as a business, not really seeing the value of my brand as a business. Unlike Mom Yvonne Chaka, I've been the face of a really successful band all across the world. But I think that I'm coming to realize now when I'm entering into a space where I am a solo space, a space where I'm really taking control of my own brand. I'm realizing that there's a lot of ownership that I did not really take in it. So now I was having the great experience of traveling all over the world, of working with my all-time legends, Stevie Wonder, our legends here, Vusi Mahlasela, Hugh Masekela, Miriam Makeba, Mama Yvonne Chaka, having the incredible experiences that we as creatives, when you're successful, you have that opportunity to do. But I wasn't really taking on the business aspect of it. So I was leaving my business to other people to handle. And I would say that is the biggest mistake that I have made in my career. So now I'm at an interesting point in my career where I'm really taking ownership of brand Zolani, taking stock of all of the opportunities that have actually been available to me all along, only if I really took that ownership.
But I want to say to Zolani, it is important to take ownership of your life.
Yeah.
But remember, you are talent.
Right.
You can't be always negotiating your own fees. You need a good manager who's not going to chow your money.
Yes.
Your manager is working with you.
Yes.
He or she works with you.
Right.
The buck must stop with you.
Right. So you're saying you need that team around you.
You need a great team around you. I've got my Rottweiler here. But she knows. Sometimes it's not all about money. It's about experience. It's about wanting to do things. I get invited to go to different places, to work with different artists, I mean, when Beyonce came here for the first time, she wanted to know this Chaka. She thought I was this old hawk, And when I went to the UN, I meet all these people like Jay-Z but me, I'm not starstruck because I say, Nyandaz,
Yes.
Nyandaz? Yes. Huh? Yeah. Why must I know you? You don't know me.
Yeah.
But I've been very lucky to perform at the White House, to perform for Obama, to perform for Madiba, to perform for all these people. But I do tell you, fame is not what you see, guys. It's hard work. It's having your feet firm on the ground. It's knowing who you are, respecting your art. When you are a superstar, it doesn't mean you just have to drink now and behave unruly. It doesn't mean you have to sniff the, I'll call it,
white powder.
The white powder.
What? Change it down. What do they call it? You know that song? Me, I've got 4 boys, so they know I know these things. That song. But you can try all these things. It's okay. Making a mistake, it's okay. I've never drank alcohol. So I say to my friends, I don't drink alcohol because dogs don't drink. And my friends say dogs don't have money. But when you drink, because everything of too much, it's not good. So I guard my money very selfishly because tomorrow may just never cater for itself.
Yes.
So it's important that when you have your money, make sure that your money works for you. Protect your money, but do not worship money. Work very hard for it.
Metro family, did you hear Umam Yvonne Chaka Sarah sing, I'm in love with a Coco? Come on!
When you're a couple, you must discuss your finances, especially now when you have children. Because you've got to know what is happening in each other's lives in terms of the provisions.
Yeah.
So we do discuss it, and we also put money away for our children, but also for ourselves. We know pensions these days, they're nothing, especially for musicians, that's not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to have a pension. Although Mom Yvonne, I know, has got a lot to say about the UIF, and I actually want to pick your brain about that, and about paying your taxes. I think it's a necessary thing, especially for Tina Mzansi Africa. So many of us, we've got that mentality of we're poor. So we've got to, when we have that money, we got to spend it. And then there's also, Mama Yvonne, you were talking about how your mom was she was a domestic worker. You've also got people who depend on you.
Yes.
They'll depend on your income as well, the black tax. I wanted to bring it around actually and ask you this question about black tax and how you have negotiated that within your career, in your lifetime.
I'm very lucky, Zolani, that I come from a family of 3 girls. I've got 2 elder sisters and myself and my mother, because my father died when I was 11. So the first thing that I did, really, I went to build my mother a house when I got my first royalty.
Hey, what?
I built my mother a house because we're staying in this 4-roomed house. Yes, it's so Dobsonville. So I thought to have a roof over your head is the most important thing. Because remember, Besalima Kishin,
Okay.
no mama. So we're staying in the madam's backyard.
Jabu.
So I built my mother a house, and then I built my two sisters' houses, and I bought myself a car. So I was the last one. So with us, Africans, we always have abo auntie, abo mzala. When you work, they come. But it's very important sometimes to be selfish. Look after yourself and your immediate family. Because when that money is gone, so it's very, very important to be giving. Giving is caring, but not being abused. So you really have to be very careful. I must say, at 21, I had $1 million in my account. Thanks to Phil Hollis. Phil Hollis, this man, shame, white people abused us, but sometimes they were nice. During apartheid, these ones were nice because he knew that I was a musician, but I was the first face of Dawn Skin Lotion and doing all those things. Yeah. And I did a Pepsi ad, me and Michael Jackson and Tina Turner.
Amazing.
I look at fill up the dome. I'm like, Tina Nabo Brenda Fast, filled up Venda Stadium.
Twice over, 3 times over.
We did. People came to our shows and they paid. So it's possible to do all those things. But I can tell you, money comes and goes. Money needs to be respected.
Yes.
As I said, make your money work for you. Yes, be generous with your families because Tina, as Africans, we need to look out for each other. Because what goes up must come down. But you must make sure that you invest your money.
Mama, thank you. You and I had a conversation while we were in Cape Town. We were talking about tax. Now, tax is often something that many of us in South Africa will feel like it doesn't apply to us, And sometimes, as an entertainer, we might have that idea. But I wanted to speak to you about how you approach the musicians that you work with, and how you speak to them about how important it is to pay their tax and what for.
I think it's important. We as artists or people in the creative industry, we're not exonerated from paying taxes. So when that money comes, whether it's money for shows or money for the royalties, you need to know that there's between 29 and 45% tax. So don't think that money is yours because you end up in trouble. If you charge VAT, if you've got a small company, 15% is VAT now. So make sure that that money, you put it aside. What do? I've got my account and I've got my VAT account. So every 2 months you pay VAT. So I take that money and put it aside because it's not mine. So that money after 2 months, you have to put it there. Because remember the people who paid you, you've given them an invoice. So for them it's an expense and you gain the money. So VAT must be paid. And at the end of your financial year, you must be able to pay tax. So what I do, every month I pay, because I pay provisional tax. So when my tax year comes, they deduct what I've been paying every month. You can't act big in a small town.
Lovely. And I think, just to also add to your point, you say but actually, it's the money
of the people.
It's the money of the people. We can't say the tax doesn't apply to me. What you're saying when you say tax doesn't apply to me is just saying, but no, I take no responsibility for my country. Somebody else can take responsibility. And that is actually an attitude that we cannot afford to have any longer.
And I think another thing, us in the arts, our jobs are seasonal. We don't work every time. Wintertime, there are no shows, guys. Summertime, yes, there are lots of shows. So put that money for rainy days because it is important. So I want to ask Zolani a question.
Yep.
If you were to be given R1 million today, what would you do? Would you go and buy a Porsche or go and buy a 7-bedroom house?
Immediately I would pay off all my debts. I don't have a lot of debt, but I do have some. One of them is a home loan. I would pay off all my debts. I would actually put a lot of money away from my children's education. I would invest. I have investments. I would put more money towards those investments and maybe more investments. And then we at the moment, we live in a flat, and my 6-year-old son is dying for a house. I think I would, if there was money left over, I would put a down payment down for a house, get a house. The more confident you are in yourself, the less you're going to need that validation from other people to say, oh, she's wearing this, Okanye is wearing this. That means they must be XYZ. The more you are in touch with yourself and know your own value, the less you're going to need the validation from the outside world. So we are a business. We have money that we set aside for the running of the business, and then we pay each other a salary. So that's basically how we work it.
Yeah.
Equally. Because if I'm playing the tambourine, ding, I'm getting your money
Yes,
too.
actually, yes. It is equal. Where the difference is in the royalties.
Okay.
Right. So in the royalties, obviously, of course, for the people listening at home and not musicians, when you write a song, there are songwriters, there are main songwriters, and maybe not as main. So what we generally have done is we have a system where, because I write the majority of the lyrics and the melody, I get a bigger share of the split. But it's not like that
Yes,
much.
queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. You get the most.
And then the other musicians get so it's different in that way. But in terms of paying each other a salary, it's equal.
Well, he didn't ban me badly. People said he was ripping me off and things like that, but really, I didn't care. All I cared for was that at least he advised me to save my money. And when I was not working, I saved my money. If I was doing shows, remember, we used to do 3-4 shows a day, and we were paid 500 rands for indoor, 2,500 for outdoors. It's not like today. Yes, and I've got my musicians here. Where are they? Tema in Cameroon. They know. I pay my musicians between 5 and 10 grand per gig.
Huh?
Yes, call them, let them come. Why should I make money alone and rob my artist? I'm not there without them. So the frontline artist, you can't charge 250,000 rands or 150,000 rands and pay your artist 500 rands. No, it's not allowed. People shall share. These are fathers and mothers, and they need to be respected as such.
Jeez.
What pushes me to be my best right now is that I've recognized the need to sit with myself and understand myself, understand who I am. So that means spending time with myself so that I can figure out whether or not I like where I am at, and if I don't like where I'm at, how I'm going to change it. What motivates me is the next right thing.
When I wake up in the morning and I look at myself and I say, 54 years old, damn, and I look sexy.
Yes!
If I don't love myself, who will love me?
Yes,
and
Mama.
I look at myself and say, every freckle is where it's supposed to be. And waking up and saying, I can still go and work. Now I choose which shows to do.
Yeah.
I don't rush for shows. If I've done one show a year, I'm enough, I'm fine. Pay. Either take it or leave it. I don't sell myself cheap. I say to the promoter, this much, take it or leave it. You need to know your worth.
Yeah.
This is how much I'd like you to pay me, and this is what I'm going to give you on stage. So don't bargain. Don't bargain. Promoters should know what you are worth as an artist, but that is hard work. Ample time of putting a lot of work in everything that you do.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me going. I get approached by different brands. If it's a brand that doesn't go with me, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do it for the sake of doing it. I know who I am. I love myself, and I do the things that I love. So nobody takes me for granted. And I make a good manager, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I tell my kids that money doesn't grow on trees. And me, I'm very stingy. If you don't do your work, you are going to fail, and he's gainless. Why must I give you money for that? No. Children must know that they must do their work. No one is going to buy them. My mother worked in my kitchen, even better. I had to study. So I tell my kids, life is too short. It's hard work. You need to put that work. And tell my kids, If we go on holiday twice a year or whatever, it's okay. Do not compare yourself with the Joneses because you don't know what they're doing next door when you're sleeping. And Mona, they'll keep on wanting this. No. So I'm very realistic with my kids. My money, it's mine. I work hard. And my husband's money, it's mine too. Sometimes our press, they would love you, write good about you, and sometimes they'll call you a has-been. And I tell them, I'm never gonna be a has-been. So I do work with young people from Berita, from artists in Kenya, Tanzania. I travel around the world mentoring young artists. I've been very lucky to have performed with people like Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, and all those people. And I do the awards for backing vocalists and session musicians because I'm trying to empower them to say, me as a frontliner, I'm not there alone. I can't make it on my own. But as a backing vocalist as well, we appreciate you. There's longevity in the music industry, and you can get this money and put it aside for yourself. I take my own money because I think I'm blessed. And money, we came here, there was money, and we're going to die and leave it. So if you share, it's okay. But as I said, you can't force the horse to drink the water. So it's venues like these. Old Mutual had no reason to do this, but they've seen a niche market, and we really have to thank them for that. But we have to be able, we have to want to do what is right. People can teach you, but they cannot force you to do things.
So I've just launched my solo career, but I've also just launched a motivational speaking career, and that is what I'm super passionate about. So over my nearly 20 years in this industry, I've been doing talks with kids, talks with in corporates with women, organizations, and I've decided now to make it a real go of it, and I'll tell you why. It's this notion of story, of really investigating what my story is, the reason that I'm here on this planet, what I want to leave behind, what values I want to leave behind for my children, what concrete things I want to leave behind. When people think of Zolani Mahola, she made this difference in people's lives. So the crux of my message is every single person in this room, every single person in the world is unique. And we've all got a journey, we've all got a story that we need to be curious about. When you're curious about your story, you can see where there are things that you can take into your next. You can see where there are things that are not useful to you any longer, that you can then make the choice to leave behind and move forward into this future that you want to go into. So this is the message of my motivational speaking, and that will be so my music is also that message of empowerment.
There's lots of kids. South Africa has got talent, so much talent. So really, as I told you, I've got 4 young boys, and my kids keep me, up to date with
Abreast.
Abreast, exactly. So I do listen to young music. I listen to different artists, and as I said, South Africans has a lot of talent. I'm very excited to see venues like this where artists can come and record for nothing, but please leave the place clean. Do not vandalize the place. This is your home. So you need to guard it with everything, So you can come here and say, I want to do this, and the doors will be open for you. But as I said first, it's respecting yourself, respecting other people, and respecting the place. So you as young people, the doors are open for you. We didn't have studios when we started singing. There was only Galo and RPM. That's it. So if the studios were full for months, and CCP. So you have got this talent. You've got talent, you've got these venues, so use them to your fullest. Don't wait for people to come to you. Knock at the door until it opens. Hustle, marangetu jonjene. Hustle, but in a very good way. Ask for help. Don't look at me and think, Yvonne, I may just give you a contract, who knows? But I tried to sign a young boy called Shoes. Ngambhadalela, ngamfaka e-studio, ngamenzela, oh, Shoes wahamba eshaya lezi wakhohlwa ukuze-studio. Wakhohlwa, wavuka wathi, eish, olate.
We all know the story that South Africa has incredible talent. You know, this is the story that we hear all the time. For me, what I'm super excited about is hearing all these very different voices and really people coming in with their own styles, you know, with new styles that are unique to them. Because for me, the sign of a successful artist is somebody who's really recognized that my voice is my voice. Nobody can do it the way that I do it. You know, that's why Mama Yvonne Chaka has been in this industry for over 35 years. You know, that's why I've been in this industry for almost 20. So for me, it's that discovering your unique offering and going for it. There's so much of that is already happening. I'm super excited about it.
Well, I think, you know, our artists, South African artists, are amazing. And, you know, these kids, they rap in the best way they know. And, you know, when you start being mutswako and loving yourself, when you start being they're themselves. They don't want to be anything but themselves. And really music now, the social media, there's all those things. People can promote themselves, which is a very good thing. But sometimes, you know, we need to be very careful of this very social media because it can be very good and bad. You know, the artists from the French artists, they'll spring, you know, from the African, French countries. They'll sing in their languages. And even the Nigerians, they don't want to speak proper English. They'll sing the way they sing. And that's why they made the money. I like your attitude too. I like your attitude too. That's how they are. So they don't want to be anything else. So we as South Africans, we've lost it because we want to be what we're not. You know? So that's a big problem. That's why Mahotela queens, they filled up the stadiums, guys, because they were authentic. Even today, the Black Mambazo,
yes,
they still get Grammys, guys, because they are authentic. So love who you are, be who you are. Have you been to America and heard them playing our music? No. Charity begins at home. They play their own, and there are too many, 270 million people. They've got the people. The seats get filled. Here, some so-called, if you want to go to the show, or izoso, or the freshly ground, we don't know. So if you are authentic, that's why young artists who are authentic, I mean, this boy, I really loved him, may his soul rest in peace. Mutswako.
Double HP.
Double HP. Singang. Yeah, I mean, he was so authentic. I mean, look at Java. Uskrafi nje mara. Icon. Uso. So be who you are. Look at Shoma Jones. Ushoma Jones, we bonili man. Half mlungu, half tagi. Mara wabulawu. Ueda strong. Ubonil. Amashangane la yayifihla funa ukuthi aziwa amashangane. Fika umshangane manje. Uthi
Yes, man.
Nina niyazifihla nifuna ukwaziwa ukuthi umshangana. Mangithi absheni. Shoma Jones usho kahle. Are huku. Mashobon. So be as authentic as possible and people will just love you. Yeah. I mean, nobody sings like me.
Yes.
When I say I'm in love with the DJ, how many people try to imitate Brenda Fassie? And there was just one Brenda Fassie. There was one Miriam Makeba. You know, Miriam Makeba lived in America for 39 years. And she still came back and says, Sanbonan Bandwanaba. Nina, Nivakashe America 2 weeks. Hoja wahan. Hey, what's up?
Speak the truth.
James.
Nancy, what I'm taking from my freshly ground experience, I'm going to answer you in this way, is that we gave ourselves the permission to do whatever music came out of us. So we didn't say we're going to do one specific genre. We did whatever came out of us. You know, we are 6, 7 musicians are coming from all over Africa, different ages, different cultures. So there's a whole lot of stuff in the mix. We didn't say, okay, let's just stick to this because this is what people like. Across all of our 7 albums, we've done whatever we wanted to, and it's always been freshly ground music. So Mnangoko, I'm going to take that mandate on as well. I'm playing with a guitar. Whatever inspiration comes to me is what I'm going to be putting out. I'm not going to be censoring myself and saying, oh, they like this, so let me produce this. It's going to be Zolani Mahola's music. That's it. What genre is it? It's Zolani Mahola.
But I think there's so much talent in South Africa. So we don't want to see our kids dying paupers. That's why venues like this are here, to teach you not to die a pauper. Because remember, 1 minute you're big, 1 minute abasakwazi stratton so mekhone uyacela. And those things do happen. We've got great artists who can't even bury themselves today. That should not be allowed.
You say this thing about Freshly Ground having been super busy, and we were busy for the longest time. I must say something here, which is a confession. The confession is that I got very complacent with that. You know, I thought we were always going to be busy. I thought it was always going to be, you know, here and there, ufunwa apa and ngapa. And I, in myself, I sort of, I don't know, I didn't relax a little bit, you know, stopped doing the things that put me there in the first place. So the things like writing every day, the things like practicing my guitar, the things like practicing my vocals, you know, like just not feeling like, oh, it's always, you know, the cream is always going to be the gravy. It's not always going to be the gravy. And part of the reason why there had been that downtime is because of that complacency that I own. So I would say, as an artist, as a creative, you gotta keep yourself inspired. You know, the reason you are an artist is because of that inspiration, you know, and it's not about the fame. It's not about getting those fancy cars. It's about the beautiful experience of expressing yourself in the way that God or whatever you believe intended.